There are tons of stories out there about hacked Pokemon games. Some of them are really quite neat, such as the one about a version where you get a ghost as a starter. And some are ridiculous as well. Silly stories about people dying after playing a game, or the game talking to them. Don't these writers know that less is more when it comes to this stuff? Anyway, I digress. I grew interested in these hack games that are apparently in any thrift store, on eBay, or handed out by homeless people to random passersby. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting these creepy people. I merely found this particular cartridge in a trash bin when the garbage truck backed into my neighbor's dumpster. I noticed the game and asked the trash man if I could take it, and he didn't seem to mind. It was thrown away after all. I, of course, checked with my neighbors to confirm they actually didn't want it, though they seemed a little perplexed, as if they'd never seen it in their lives. Their son made a grab for it, a little boy who saw the Charizard on the cover, crying out, "Pokemon! I want Mommy!" But his mother told him no, seeing as I had been the one to find it. He didn't even have a Game Boy anyway. He just liked Pokemon. Thinking nothing more, I simply went home, looking at the cartridge's sticker on the way. Just the plain old red version, the sticker slightly torn across the Charizard's neck. But that was to be expected with such an old game. I had blue version as a kid, so I was a bit eager to see the, albeit minimal, differences red version had. I was rather disappointed by what I saw when the title screen showed up. Well, damn it. It was a hack. The hacks were neat and all, but they had zero monetary value. The original's quite valuable by now, and I wanted to play Red anyway. Not this crap. Oh well. It was free. Might as well try it. The name was odd, however. Strangled Red. That made no sense, not even in the morbid description of someone being asphyxiated, as people turn blue when choking, not red. Who knows? Maybe there were a pair of these hacks and I just got the red one. The more I thought about this, though, the more interested I became. My initial disappointment turned into curiosity. I wanted to know what the creator had made, and I was going to note everything I saw. The first oddity I noticed was that the start screen had a Charizard next to the trainer instead of a Charmander. Also, the Pokemon never cycled through like the original versions did. It just stayed Charizard, even after 5 minutes of waiting. Shrugging, I hit start, noticing there was no Charizard cry as I did, like there was supposed to be. I saw there was a continue option, so I figured I'd do what everyone did with used games and see what the original owner had done. No. I blinked in surprise. No? What do you mean, no? The game wouldn't let me continue no matter what, though. On the 4th attempt, I heard the Charizard cry. Quiet and barely audible, but there. Shrugging it off, I decided I'd just click New Game, like I would have done after checking the old file anyway. The screen cut to black for a while. No Professor Oak, no starting thing, just nothing at all. Eventually, the screen came back, showing a bedroom, 2 beds, 2 TVs, and a computer in the corner. My trainer's sprite was the usual one, consistent with the original Red version. I was curious as to why it didn't ask my name, though that was answered as I opened the pause menu, noticing that my trainer was named Steven. No, this isn't my real name or some stupid crap like that. This game isn't haunted or self-aware, at least not that I know of. It just had a name chosen already. Curious, I saw he had the starter amount of money, no badges. He didn't look like Red, though. His hair was longer, almost reaching halfway down his back. Red's usual smile replaced with a confident smirk. Honestly, I found this sprite much cooler than Red. Next, I checked out his Pokemon. A single Charmander, level 5, named Miki. Nothing was odd about it, or should I say her, with a name and all. She had beginning Charmander stats, only knew Scratch and Tail Whip, basic stuff. The game seemed relatively normal. Returning to the game, I walked about the room, noticing Steven's long hair was present on the back of my trainer's sprite when my back was turned to the camera. I didn't recognize the house, but I descended the stairs to see more. Downstairs was another trainer, who spoke to me the instant I came down. Mike, ready yet? Steven, yeah. I assumed this Mike was my rival, pre-decided for me, a replacement of Blue most likely. Though, I thought back to the bedroom having 2 beds, realizing they weren't just rivals, they were brothers. They talked back and forth, basic Pokemon dialogue, become a Pokemaster, catch 'em all, and stuff like that, before having a little argument over which is better, Charmander or Squirtle, which, of course, led to the introduction battle, like the one versus Blue in the lab. It's simple enough. Scratch, tackle, scratch, tackle. 2-on-1 purely for having the first turn. I took note of how much better Steven's sprite looked in combat than Red's. A different pose, his hair looking like it was blowing in the wind. A brief, minor upgrade, but still much nicer. I left the house after some more banter with my brother, stepping out to the Pallet Town vein. Going to the east, I found this was indeed Pallet Town. The house was simply on the outskirts to the west. I noted there was no mysterious grassy field like in normal Pallet Town. Wandering about, I decided to check in on Red's house. His mother was inside, and when I talked to her, she commented on how handsome Steven looked, hoping her son would look up to him as a role model for when he became a trainer himself the next year. This, of course, led me to realize the game took place a year before the original Pokemon. Red was even upstairs, playing his SNES in his room, commenting, "I'm gonna be the best too when it's my turn." I'm starting to like this hack. It was interesting. A completely new adventure. A different character. Hell, Steven even seemed to have a history with the people in his town. A reputation. A personality beyond a silent protagonist. The people in town talked to him as a person, making conversation, not just spouting tutorial crap. Even Blue's sister had new dialogue. They seemed to be in a relationship too, as the dialogue ended with a kiss and a heart over her head. Professor Oak simply wished me well, giving me a Pokedex to aid my adventure. He wasn't giving it to me to be the reason behind the adventure, like every other Pokemon game out there. He gave it to me out of kindness, something to help me on my way. A gift. I was liking this more and more with each second. The game seemed to have an actual story now. I was somebody, not just a cookie-cutter protagonist anyone could be. Not some blank sheet that could be replaced without notice. The story was different, though the actual gameplay remained unchanged. I went north like I was supposed to, went from town to town, collected badges, received the praise of the leaders. Steven's fame even seemed to spread, as some of the NPCs talked like they knew him. I used Miki for every battle, and she was growing surprisingly fast. She handled Brock with ease, even pounded Misty with no trouble at all. She wasn't as adversely affected by super effective attacks as others. She did more damage than a regular Charmander. She was a veritable powerhouse! She even became a Charizard at the mere level of 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. 25. Things started to get weird, though, as soon as I reached Lavender Town. I know. Lavender Town is the focus behind every creepy story and the like, but it was the only place that was noticeably different. There was no Team Rocket invasion, which I found odd, though I did remember that this was a year in the past, so the invasion wouldn't occur until Red's time. I tried to enter the Pokemon Tower, aiming to get a Ghastly, but that's when it got odd. Stephen, I have no reason to be here. Stephen wouldn't go into the Pokemon Tower no matter what I did. This was weird. I mean, hell, there are a million places in Kanto you really have no need to be. Little random houses with nothing but children NPCs, for example. Why was it here that Stephen wouldn't enter? With a shrug, I figured I wouldn't need a Ghastly, seeing as Miki could handle anything. So I simply went on my way. Lavender Town serving no purpose other than a passageway for the Poké Center. The game progressed normally from there. The remaining gyms fell, and I eventually made my way to the Elite Four and defeated them. As with Blue, my brother Mike was there before me, initiating the championship battle, which Miki swept with ease. The aftermath of the battle was quite pleasant. None of the tension between Red and Blue at the end of their match. The brothers congratulated one another on their progress and shook hands before the screen went white. No Hall of Fame, nor any credits. When the screen came back, it was at the house again, the two brothers sitting at the computer, conversing with one another. Stephen, I don't want to. Mike, come on. I just gotta borrow her for a second to finish the Pokédex. The entry won't register unless she recognizes me as master for just a second. Stephen, but she's my Miki. Mike, I promise I'll give her back. Come on, please? Yes, no. I was a bit perplexed, so I hit no just to be cautious. Mike, come on, please? No. Mike, come on, please? I realized this would simply continue to loop until I hit yes, so I did, just to see what would happen. Mike, alright, this will just take a sec, then we'll both be Pokemasters. Stephen, no response. The screen changed to the animation shown when two people trade Pokemon, which I found a bit weird, seeing as I was solo. But whatever, this was apparently supposed to happen. Miki went first. I watched lazily as she began to travel down the trading tube. That made me jump. A sudden noise resonating in my silent bedroom, loud due to the volume being all the way up. Looking at the screen, I noticed the game had seemed to freeze. Miki still in mid-trade, but the game wasn't doing anything. With a sigh, I just turned off the game, wondering when my last save was. When the game turned back on, I stared for a moment at the start screen. There was no Charizard next to the trainer. Upon pressing start, I saw the new game option was absent, leaving only continue. This was strange to say the least, so I selected it, the game starting without even showing my stats as usual. My jaw dropped at what I was greeted with.